It's reported that Ronaldo to Chelsea is on. He's been offered to the club. And listen, this is David Ornstein's words here, and I'll quote him verbatim. Chelsea are exploring. They're exploring the option of Cristiano Ronaldo coming in. And Ornstein has been on fire this year. He very rarely even mentions things unless he believes there's a possibility of it happening. Nazir Kinsella has spoken about the option that Chelsea have got to pursue it. What are you saying, Roy, me boy? Ronaldo in? You happy with that?
This is going to be unpopular, but me personally, so just my opinion, I don't think we should go for him. I see all the pros, like, trust me. I know the goals he brings. I know the leadership. I even know the shirt sales, the money. Just having Ronaldo at the club would just be fantastic. He'll bring up the level and the mentality and the work rate of everyone around him. So he brings a lot of pros, but I feel like in this current era of football, and if you're trying to compete with Pep and Klopp, who right now are the benchmark, I don't think bringing in these superstar names who stylistically and profile-wise might not be a good fit is a good idea. And I personally rather would go for someone who's like maybe less of a name, but would fit the system like a glove than a Ronaldo who we'd have to cater a lot more for, even though if you do build around him, he will score goals because that United team and structure last year was horrible. Yeah, he still scored 18 goals. So imagine if it was actually a good team that he was in. So I see all the pros and cons, but I personally would stay away. I think we've done too many deals like this before where we've seen a big name who doesn't really fit us that well and we've gone for him and it's backfired. So I think if you really do want to compete the right way and sustainably compete as well with Pep and Klopp at the top, I personally think this isn't the transfer we should go for. But if we do get him, like I'll be in the Matthew Harding lower stand. I'll be doing Soo when he scores. I'll be his biggest fan, trust me. But like, yeah, before it happens, I don't want it. But if it does, then it's impossible not to be happy if Ronaldo signs for your club.
Someone else speak, please. Come on. You guys are so flat tonight. It's unbelievable.
And how do you feel that Ronaldo potentially could be going to Chelsea? Let's be real.
Yeah, come on, Terry. Yeah,
a little bit.
Losing your best ever player
into a positive for United. We know.
Oh, he's not he's one of our best. We had
no,
Jules
Terry. He's your best ever player. Come on.
He's not, don't disrespect Jules Best and Dennis Law and these guys.
Okay.
There's a debate to Duncan Edwards. Let me just. Ronaldo's brilliant, but Man United. You got to remember, we're not 20 years old like Chelsea. We've had players for 100 years that have been at this level. But you celebrating a goal and going, Sue, that'll hurt me. As a Man United fan, watching Ronaldo play for another Premier League club will hurt me. I'm not going to sit here and lie. However, it's 1 year you're going to have him for, tops. So it's not really going to damage anybody in the Premier League long term. You're not buying him from us when he's 24. You know, if you were taking Bruno Fernandes away from us, if you were taking Varane, who else do I rate and think is going to bounce back? If you were taking Jadon Sancho away from us this summer, I'd be fuming, I'd be angry, I'd be worried. It's a year or so tops that I think you'll get the best out of Ronaldo. And as much as it will hurt in the short term, as long as we reinvest that 26 million we saved this year from his salary and we buy someone who's got longevity in them who's good, it won't bother me that much. Do you understand where I'm coming from? But see,
the striker market's quite bad, Terry.
Yeah, but I don't understand if
bad this year.
I get that. Before this news of Ronaldo, there was a lot of thought. So once we didn't get Darwin Núñez, the word was that United were going to move for more inside forwards and attackers, players like the Antonys, and Eriksen has opted for a bit more of a fluid front three. Maybe a little bit like what Liverpool are now are going to be moving away from as an example. But that's kind of what he's looking to do. I don't think we'll spend the money on another number 9. I think we'd spend the money on a different type of forward, if that makes sense. But I'm honestly in two minds about it. There's a part of me as a United fan that's like, oh, it's going to hurt seeing him wearing the blue shirt at Chelsea. But then when I think about it through and through, as long as we reinvest the money and we buy someone else, and we went and landed Anthony, and he is what we think he's going to hope he's going to be, over the medium to long term, it isn't going to bother me because we're not going to get 4, 5, 6, 7 years out of Ronaldo now. So I'm honestly in two minds about it, if that makes sense. You know, as long as it isn't City or Liverpool that he goes to, I think I can just about stomach it. Just about.
If Anthony comes in and you have the same attack that you currently have constructed, are you okay with that? Because I think that would be terrible. You'd be the worst out of the original top 6.
But okay with it in what regard? Forever?
No, like for this season, I think that's not enough goals in that team.
But for this season, yes, because none of you are predicting we're going to make it into the top 4 anyway. So
I think they've got goals in that team, Miguel. Anthony, Sancho, Martial, Bruno, Ericsson, Ronaldo. There's goals there.
Rashford as well. Rashford
Yeah,
will definitely
Rashford. I
bounce
think it's
back.
just
There's
the
no way
structure and
Rashford will be
like
as bad as
coaching
he
up
was.
is
My point-
improved,
so
but
this-
there's goals there.
my point is, Gal,
I'm just looking at the,
and I know what you're doing. I'll go back to your point of question. No one's predicting, no matter who we sign, keep Ronaldo, not keep Ronaldo. Everyone's saying we're missing out on top 4 anyway. So why does it matter?
No, I'm asking you, do you have enough in that team for
No,
for the short term?
if we keep Ronaldo or sell Ronaldo, we're not going to have enough to. Most people don't think we're going to have enough to make the top 4 anyway, because we're at the beginning of a
I'm not
rebuild.
speaking to most people, Terry. I'm speaking to you.
So
and
again,
you yourself.
but that's my answer. My answer is very much like
So
I
you're
say.
not answering the question now.
I am answering the question. But for next season, it's enough. Forever, it isn't. And for 1 year, if we lose a player like that and we don't have a number 1 replacement ready for him, I'm willing to wait. Yes, we might lack something next year, but we were always going to lack something next year because we weren't going to be fixed in one summer. It's like you put in a funny face, Gal. What's wrong with the answer?
No, I'm looking at it from this perspective. You're going to have either a front 3 of Anthony, Sancho, or one of Martial or Rashford in the striker position. Am I wrong? So that's going to be your front. That's going to be like your best strength front 3, in comparison to some of the other front 3s in the league. It's just.
Don't include us in that.
I get your point, bro. But
our
again,
front 3 is not in this discussion.
I hear that, Roy. But back to it, Gal. I understand what you're saying, and you could rank it bottom of the 6, and I'd be completely fine with that. But we were not fixing all the problems in our squad in 1 year. At the end of this window, no matter what we do, there's going to be holes still. But I get where you're coming from. Oh God, you still got that hole. Of course, it's year 1 of the rebuild. When after Arteta's first summer, were you completely happy with every element of your squad?
No, but this is different.
Why?
Team. This is different because your team was in a much more competitive state than we were. You guys were in a situation. Okay. You guys were in a situation where you had one of the best players to ever play the game in Ronaldo in your team. You also had a team that was constructed with a lot more investment, and you were already competing at second in the league, even with Oli. And everyone says yes, it's a false position, whatever. But at the same time, you were in that position, and you had a team that people might have assumed could have challenged. So I'm not saying this is a fall from grace or anything. I'm just saying, as if I was a Man United fan and I'm looking at my front 3 and my attack, I would want more than just Anthony. That's the reality.
And I understand that. So I'm playing devil's advocate here. So let's go back to it. So we're really not as bad a squad as everybody's making us out to be then, based on in your eyes. We're a good squad that should be able to compete for the top 4 in trophies as long as we've got a goal scorer.
No, that's not what I said.
So let's go back. Stop. So let's go back. So if having Ronaldo as a goal scorer doesn't make us any better, why would I be scared and worried? Like, your logic is flawed. You either think we're a good enough team that with a goal scorer like Ronaldo can compete and be really good this year. But if it doesn't matter if we've got Ronaldo and we're still going to fail, why does it matter if he stays or goes?
If he goes, you need more than just Anthony to come in the striking position.
Yes, I know. So he goes. If we bring in more than Anthony or keep Ronaldo, you think we can compete next year?
I still think you're gonna struggle to get into the top 4.
So I'll echo your point. I agree with you. I still think we're going to improve, but struggle to make the top 4. So in the short term, why panic and throw your toys out about a certain area of the team not being ready yet, rather than rushing and buying the wrong player, as we've done for 9 to 10 years, and then ended up in a situation where we have a player that we paid £60 million for, who we now can't sell, who's on big money that doesn't fit what the manager wants. There's no need for Man United as a club to panic, because as you've just said, and you've admitted to it, whether we have Ronaldo or not, or a replacement or not, we're still going to struggle. So
no, but this is similar to the Aubameyang situation. We let Aubameyang go, but we needed to bring in a replacement. You guys are letting Ronaldo go, but Anthony coming in is not a Ronaldo replacement.
If he goes, Ronaldo might not go though. Ronaldo might not go.
Yeah, he could very easily stay.
Ronaldo might not go either. But my main point is, if Ronaldo's going, you still need to bring in another attacker.
I agree. I agree.
Everything else you say is redundant after that.
No, it isn't. I agree we need to bring somebody else in. But your overarching point around needing to bring another replacement in, and maybe it is just Anthony. I want Anthony regardless. It's about not panicking, because you're sort of talking with the smug smile on your face. You were like, it's going to be like the worst front 3 in the top 6. It could be if Ronaldo leaves, but you don't even think we're going to compete anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like, your point doesn't hold any water. If it isn't going to damage our season, irrespective, why would I panic? And I'm only talking to you and your logic. Why would I panic if whether with or without Ronaldo, we're going to end up in the same place? What's the point of worrying?
Because you, at the end of the day, you want an improvement from last season.
Of course I do. I think we'll improve with if Ronaldo stays or Ronaldo goes, with Ten Hag managing us and the 5 to 6 players we're linked with that I think will sign, we will be a vastly superior team compared to what we were last year with or without Ronaldo. It doesn't make or break our season whether he stays or goes, and it doesn't make or break the rebuild because he goes at the end of next season anyway. It's really not as big a deal. What hurts the most is we'll be watching a legend of my club and a player that I have an affinity for play for a rival. I'll never deny that hurts. But then when I think about my club, there's no time to panic, Igal, you know. And as you've said, we're not making the top 4 anyway. So with or without Ronaldo, it doesn't matter. Your own point falls down.
I'm not even saying panic. I'm just saying there has to be a large level of caution from all fans.
Right.
Losing Ronaldo and not bringing in enough replacements, because at the end of the day, your front 3 has been underperforming. You don't have enough goals in Rashford, Martial over the last couple of years, and they've been underperforming. A lot of people want them out. Sancho, still, I'm going to give him time. He has another season. He can definitely bounce back. Anthony comes in. I still have reservations over him. So your whole attack has gone down a level. Yes, you might improve your midfield, you might improve your defense and everything else, and that could improve your team overall. But I feel like your attack has gotten so much more significantly worse. And that's just my main point around it.
And I totally understand that. But I think what you're missing, and you're sort of not listening to Man United fans, is although you're right, we went backwards last year. That's because every single one of our attackers, barring Ronaldo, had an awful season. And if all the other areas of our team improve, like you just suggested it would, we create more, we control the ball better, we dominate the territories more, we create more opportunities. The players we had, the players that are still going to be here remaining, scored more goals than the Man United team that had Ronaldo last year, 2 seasons back. So there are goals in this team, as the boys have already alluded to. And like I've said, we will buy a replacement. But Ten Hag is being very surgical and specific in his approach. He's only buying players that he thinks is going to improve his team. We're not going. I pray we don't. We don't panic and go and get man like Uncle Iggy on loan again. We don't need to do anything like that. You just bide your time. We are year 1 of our rebuild. And the point is, when you were year 1 of your rebuild, when Liverpool were year 1 of their rebuild, nobody expected Jurgen Klopp's squad, nobody expected Mikel Arteta's team to be perfect front to back across the whole board. What you're trying to do is clever, and I get it from rivals. It's almost, let's put pressure on Man United fans to be annoyed that their squad isn't perfect after one window. That's
You
just
agreed with me, though.
No, I didn't agree about the squad. I agreed that we need to bring in a replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo. And if we let him go and nothing comes in, I'll be frustrated. But I'm not worried about Ronaldo not being there.
Okay. All right. So you're not worried that Ronaldo's leaving. So is it a good thing Ronaldo's leaving then?
It's not the worst thing in the world. He's got 1 year left on his contract. We're starting the beginning of a new rebuild. No one thinks we're going to make the top 4. Ronaldo leaving doesn't make that any worse or different, because with him, you still think we're going to fail. So I don't understand why I would be annoyed. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So
what United are doing with the Ronaldo situation is what they should be doing the whole time. They're being smart. They're not panicking. Let's say Ronaldo was to go this window and they stick to what they're doing, which is bring in Anthony and wait for a striker because the one that they want, Darwin Núñez, isn't available. That's what they should be doing. They shouldn't be panicking and bringing in some 4th, 5th choice striker who doesn't hit the ground running, doesn't suit the system, and then give it 12 months. They're in the exact same situation, but 30, 40 million pounds worse off. They might as well just wait with this squad. And as much as people sit here with it and go, yeah, the attack went great last season, who knows if this is a redemption season for certain players, whether Rashford with a full pre-season and playing consistent minutes at number 9 refines his form, or if this is a breakout year for Sancho, or Martial refines himself. That's something you've got to take into consideration if they let Ronaldo go.
I think that for one season, I think this manager's got the ability to get the goals he needs out of the Martials, the Rashfords, Bruno, Sancho as an example, as you mentioned, and sort of the midfielders that come in. I think we'll have enough. I'm not convinced, even with all our signings, that we're going to make top 4 right now. So what I don't want is a panic. What I don't want is us to overreact. Of course, I'd love a replacement for Ronaldo. I'd love us to go, right, Ronaldo's leaving and we spend that money. We won't, this is hypothetical, and we land Gnabry. Would I love that? Yeah, of course I would, because that's a massive improvement. But if we haven't fixed all the holes in our team in the first summer, but we've done good business, I'm happy. You know, we're not adding to Ollie's squad. We're starting again for a brand new style of play, and that can't be ignored. It would be stupid to ignore it. It really, really would. You know, and I'm not going to do it. So, hang on a second. Some news here. We were actually talking Chelsea. About. Do you guys think it's a good sign for Chelsea? How do you think you do at Chelsea, Colleen?
Do you know what? I'm a bit more optimistic than Roy is, to be honest with you. I think that would be a major kind of like statement piece having Ronaldo on your team, even if it's just for a year. I just think we can't underplay how big of a character, how big of an impact Ronaldo can have. Now, I mean, there's a lot going on at Chelsea, to be honest with you. I think as well, then bringing in Sterling would be a great fit as well. You'd have Havertz, Sterling, and Ronaldo potentially as a front three. If that was the case, how would you feel about it, Roy?
I think in terms of how they fit with each other, it's not quite ideal, but I do think Tuchel could accommodate that. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's terrible. As in, on paper, it doesn't fit like quite ideally, but there's definitely potential in that front three, as in like Sterling to direct, to dribble, he runs in behind. Ronaldo grabs goals. Havertz has got great movement. He's good in the air. He'll get his chunk of goals as well. So it could definitely cook. But yeah, then on paper, it doesn't really fit that ideally.
But I guess
if we got Ronaldo, Sterling, and another winger, like obviously I know we're not going to get him like Dembele or Rafinha or someone like that, Sterling and Ronaldo, then I'll be like, you know what, that's cash money. We can cook with that. But yeah, Havertz, Ronaldo, Sterling doesn't quite fit right.